Hey, what's up guys? My name is Cameron Gallagher from We Are Film, and today we got a couple quick tips, so let's get into it. So quick tip number one is actually buying a dual battery charger. Now I would highly recommend buying these for whatever batteries you need, because a couple reasons. One of the first things is that these actually have a battery indicator on the front, so the great part is you can actually see what the percentage is left, how long it's going to take to charge, or at least estimate how long it's going to take to charge. The other thing is, of course, you can charge two batteries at once, so by plugging one of these into the wall, you're charging two batteries at once, which obviously just gets you up and charged that much quicker. Now the great thing about this newer one is it's pretty affordable, and the other thing is a lot of these battery plates actually slide out, so you can buy different battery plates. So you can do Sony NPF or Canon LP6 or any of those types of batteries that you need, constantly charge it up. But anyway, I would totally recommend getting one of these dual chargers. The other great part is it actually has a couple different options for power, so AC and DC, so you go right to a wall, or you could go to some type of converter or a battery pack or something like that, or even a car. So super handy, definitely one thing to pick up. The next quick tip is actually buying a bunch of Manfrotto quick release plates. Now I recommend the Manfrotto or Benro because they're, first off, just high quality, but second off, they're actually universal between most things. So most quick release plates that we actually use are this Manfrotto Benro standard. And the great part is that this is going to work on several different things. So if you have different cameras, different setups, different rigs, you can easily use these quick release plates, move your camera from one rig to the next quickly and easily. Now I recommend buying a bunch of these and the receivers, that way you can have them on all your stuff, so again, everything just moves that much faster. Again, these are super high quality, I can't recommend them enough, and being universal like that, you can really jump on any set and be able to just hop on a tripod or a monopod or some type of rig without having to rework everything and have to maybe strip down a rig. So next up is actually investing in good cases. And one thing I want to talk about in particular is this K-Tech bag for an audio recorder, in this case, or in my case in particular, the Mix Pre 3. And this thing is really awesome for a couple reasons. First off, this thing actually has some weatherproofing, so it does have a nice little weather strap that kind of covers it. I don't have it in there right now. But of course, if you have a recorder or different accessories in here, they all fit right inside here, so you could have wireless kits, you could have, like in our case, a Mix Pre 3, different stuff like that. And the great thing is on either side, it actually opens up where you can have your headphones or XLR. And again, there's also extra storage up front, so you could carry different cables or maybe timecode generators or stuff like that. And it just keeps everything concise, easy, and you can put it right over your shoulder, so your audio person can have it right over the shoulder, looking right down at the audio recorder, the receivers, whatever they need to be, and everything's accessible right there. Now, these are fairly pricey, but you can find cheaper ones out there, so just kind of scour the internet. Again, I recommend this K-Tech one because it's a really high quality bag, but again, if you wanted to find something a little cheaper, there's definitely some out there. A quick side note too is that actually Velcro works on the inside, so anything that you put Velcro on can actually stick to the inside, so that's a really nice little tip. So the next one is actually picking up some of these kind of like Expo markers or just these dry erase markers. And these ones are the grease versions or something. I can't remember exactly the name of them. I'll link them down in the description below. But these are actually great for using on a lot of different things. First off, they work on your slate. So if you have a slate that you need to, write down the take number or scene number, that kind of stuff, and then wipe off, they're easy to do that. But then one of the biggest things than these in particular are actually for a follow focus. So you can mark the focus points. So that way, if you have marks on your set, you can measure out those marks and then use these to mark your follow focus. And they're cheap and they're easy and they're great. So the next one is actually SD, CF, or whatever type of media card reader holders. Now I talked about the Polar Pro a while back, the Slate, and the great thing about these is that they can actually keep all of your SD cards or CF cards or whatever cards you have safe. You can transport them easily, and some of them are even like waterproof and stuff like that. So I highly recommend picking these up because obviously at the end of the day, everything is on those little cards, and that's it. Your entire shoot is on those, so you want to keep those as safe as possible. Now, like the Polar Pro Slate actually has a couple different options. So it has SD, CF. You can also fit, I think, micro SD in there too, so that's kind of handy. This one's a little more basic. It just holds the CF cards, but it's great for my Ursa Mini Pro G2. So again, whatever type of cards you need, getting a card case is a huge must. Okay, so this one's a little bit different, but this is actually a power adapter for your camera. Now, the Ursa Mini Pro G2 comes with one, but a lot of cameras don't. And the reason why this is really handy is because there's going to be a lot of times where maybe you're shooting long form stuff where you actually would benefit by plugging into the wall. For instance, we've been shooting a podcast, linked down in the description below, and when shooting that podcast, we were shooting very long form content, and we would have to then stop and switch a battery out, maybe mid-story or something going on. So having a power adapter, I can easily plug into the wall and just run for a long period of time. This is great for event videography or some type of corporate video where you're shooting very long form stuff. And again, swapping batteries, although can work, it just makes that much harder of a job. So getting a power adapter for whatever camera you have is going to be super handy and very helpful. Now this next one is a little niche, but I think is very handy to have in your camera case, and that is a lens support. So obviously you have to have 15mm rails for this, but a lot of people do have camera rigs, and these are really handy because maybe your lenses aren't that bad and they're not that heavy and it's not something you need on your lenses, but let's say you were to go to a job and bring your camera and somebody has a really large lens, maybe it's an anamorphic lens or a big cinema lens. Having one of these is very, very handy, and they're very affordable. They're like 20, 30 bucks. And to have one in your case just to make sure that you're able to adapt to any camera or any scenario you can is just that much better off. And again, just keeping your stuff safe, because if you were to break a lens or a lens mount on your camera, that's obviously a massive issue. And if you're renting it or something like that, that could be even bigger of an issue. So this can really save your butt in a lot of cases. So anyway guys, those are some quick tips on some cool filmmaking accessories that you should definitely pick up. I'm gonna leave all the links down in the description below, so check those out. It also gives us a kickback here on the channel, which helps us out. Anyway guys, thanks for watching. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and I'll catch you guys later.